Over the last week, the Arizona newspapers have reported that 8 bodies were found in the Arizona desert. The Arizona desert today, my friends, is in triple-digit temperatures. On June 21st, the Arizona Republic reported that, quote, 4 men may have been dead 3 days before their bodies were found in the Arizona desert by U.S. Border Patrol agents. 2 men had Mexican identifications and the other 2 didn't have identification. On June 24th, the Associated Press reported Maricopa County Sheriff deputies have found another body in the Arizona desert near Gila Bend, just days after 4 bodies were discovered in the same area. No identification was found on the body, and there were no signs of trauma or foul play. June 27th, today, the Arizona Daily Star reported that, quote, 3 decomposing bodies were found by Tucson Sector Border Patrol agents in the desert over the weekend. The Yuma Sun reported yesterday there have been 12 people rescued from the desert by Yuma Sector agents. 6 others were not located and died in the wilderness. The list goes on and on. Since 2007, the last time we tried to pass this legislation, more than 2,425 immigrants have died trying to cross our southwest border. These are people who wanted to come to this country not because they wanted to do anything but realize the American dream. That's what they want. That's what they risked their lives and, in fact, gave their lives for. And, yes, they did so illegally. And they're willing to pay a penalty for crossing our border illegally. But shouldn't we give them the same chance that we've given generation after generation of immigrants who have come to this country, wave after wave of Irish and Italians and Jews and Poles, and now people from all over the world? Shouldn't we do that? Isn't it in us to bring 11 million people out of the shadows that are now being exploited and have none of the protections of citizenship? Well, how do we address some of these? This legislation does secure the border, and I can tell you from 30 years of being on the border, this bill secures the border, and anyone who says it doesn't does not understand our security needs, because I have been there and I have seen the technology that was developed in Iraq and Afghanistan, which will give us surveillance. Yes, there's a bill with 20,000 new additional Border Patrol agents, but the fact is that the technology that's there now will give us the ability for 100% situational awareness and ability to intercept. I guarantee it to my friends because I saw it work. And that technology is in being. There's 700 miles of total fencing that will be added. 700 miles. And my friends, we will also have additional Border Patrol, as we know. What is the key to this bill? The key to this bill is not only because the fencing on the border and the Border Patrol, but it's the 40% of the people who are here illegally who came here and overstayed their visas. They didn't cross the southwest border. So what do we do about that? We dry up the magnet, and that's the E-Verify program, which makes sure that every person who wants to come to this country illegally will know that that person cannot get a job here. And we will have, within 5 years, an E-Verify system that I am confident, and more importantly, so are the people who are really knowledgeable, that that will be a foolproof system with 95% effectiveness. This legislation will not only give us a secure border, but it will address the key element, because people who now want to come here illegally will know that they cannot, and employers will know that if they hire someone who's here illegally, they will pay a severe penalty for doing so. We've got to dry up the magnet. So today there's 11 million people. They're in violation, and they don't have the protection of our laws. And I'd like to mention again about the people who are coming across our borders. There's a thing called coyotes. You know what coyotes are? They're drug cartel people. They're the most evil people on earth. They take these people in groups and they bring them across the border. And many times, the reason why we find these bodies in the desert, they say, we're leaving you. Tucson's right over the hill. And thousands have died in the desert. And you know what they do sometimes when they get them all the way up to Phoenix? They keep them in drop houses, jammed together, and they hold them for ransom under the most unspeakable conditions. And you know what else they do? They abuse the people that they bring up. And I won't go into the details of how they do that. It's an unacceptable situation. 50,000 Mexican citizens have been killed by the drug cartels. Last year, hundreds of migrants were missing or killed in Mexico. More than 20,000 were kidnapped, and many are regularly beaten. The Mexican government doesn't know exactly how to handle this situation, and it's all complicated by drugs, which we are creating the demand for. Madam President, I've had the great opportunity in my life to have many experiences. And the one I'll never forget was July 4th of 2007. Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Joe Lieberman, my beloved friend, and I were in Baghdad for 4th of July. General Petraeus had requested that we speak at a reenlistment ceremony where about 800 brave young men and women serving the military were reenlisting to stay and fight. There was another group of some 80-some who were green card holders who, because they had joined the military, had an accelerated path to citizenship. I was honored to be there. I was honored to speak to them. In the front row, there was 4 empty seats with boots on them. Men and women, men who were green card holders who had lost their lives in combat in the previous 48 hours. Men who had been willing to risk their lives and serve our country in order to be citizens of this country. I've never been so deeply moved. Madam President, let's give these 11 million people a chance to do the same.